Hello, magical family. I'm Sabina, and welcome back to the Witching Hour. I'm really excited to be back with a paranormal video for you guys. I think the last time I did one of these was around Halloween time, so we are long overdue. But before getting into it, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button, and if you do, thank you. Really quick disclaimer. I live in a loud neighborhood. I am on the second floor, so you may hear some talking, a TV even, loud noises. So just keep that in mind. So the last time I did one of these videos, I really touched on the incident that made my whole family believe what was going on and realize like, okay, hey, this is not a kid having an overactive imagination. Something's wrong here. I will link that video above and in the description. So after all of that and my beginning story, and now my family is full on board with me, activity in our house just kept increasing. And I mean to the point of something or things you see on the TV or you hear about, those things exist. It gets really scary. I am a huge paranormal lover. I will always be fascinated by these things, and it is, like I've said over and over, a huge part of my life. But I would not wish this on anybody. You do not want this stuff in your home. It is exhausting, scary, tiring. That's all I want to say. For us, it got to the point of no return where we needed to find outside help. And a lot of things started happening for us, so I'm gonna have to split this up in more than one video. So being in our house got to the point of just being like a nightmare. It was so difficult, especially to have any kind of peace of mind. That was completely gone. So it was nothing like insanely crazy at first, but it was enough for you to know that something was happening still. It wasn't just that incident and then everything just stopped. It was like, okay, it's almost like this thing was like, hey, I got your attention now. I'm going to show you I'm here to stay. That's what it felt like. Our entire house was like ceramic tile, except for the living room and our bedrooms were carpet. So for our chairs, we had a pretty big table and it's kind of sturdy, like wooden chairs. So if you move those, especially if you drag it, you really hear the noise on the tile. And that's what we started hearing at night. But again, nothing too crazy. But we started noticing, okay, every night, like clockwork, we will push in all 6 chairs. We always did that, like where we're supposed to be in. And without fail, in the morning, they will always be pulled out ever so slightly or turned out of place. And no, it's not like, okay, we left it like that. We knew. It got to the point where we purposely made sure that we pushed everything in and we set it how it's supposed to be. And it started off as like little turns and pulled out, and then sometimes like really pulled out and turned away. It's like these small little things it just felt like, okay, I want your attention. I'm going to get your attention. And then slowly things just kept getting more uneasy, and night times became like you just dreaded the night. As soon as the sun went down, it was like, okay, oh boy, here goes. So those like constant noises from like somebody walking on the tile or the carpet to things moving around or hearing things move around, it just turned into this really crazy feeling of uneasiness. You know, that feeling of you feel like you're not alone and there's something else there, or you feel like you're being followed. There was actually like a point in time, now that I think about it, that when it came to sometimes moving from one side of the house to the other, there's like this long kind of area to get to, like from where my parents' bedroom was, or even the living room to our rooms. At night especially, there were points where you felt like you needed to run because something is there. And I mean, think about that. Feeling like you have to run from one point of your house to another because something's either with you, following you, or just there. It's such an eerie feeling. And you just feel on edge 24/7. And then it just became so hard to sleep. So for me personally, and I know my older brother as well, I'm not really sure about my parents. Maybe I should ask them. I had horrible nightmares. It was so bad. Sleeping at night was so bad. So if it wasn't the noises, as soon as you would fall asleep, it's just horrible nightmares. Then those like footsteps started to increase, and this is where activity just kept escalating. It got to the point where when you were up at night, my parents' room was on the other side of the house and we were on the other side. So, like I said, everything was tile except in our rooms. So there were points where you would hear somebody running on tile towards our rooms, and then all of a sudden stop. Then after that, you would literally hear something stepping on the carpet, okay? And that would freak you the heck out. So sometimes it would be like just running on the tile, stopping, that's it. Or walking on the tile and it feels like something's stopping at the door. Then the days where it stopped on the tile, and then next thing you know, you hear that like somebody walking on the rug towards you. Like imagine that, like you're there, you're a kid, even for an adult, you're kind of peeking out in the hallway, you don't see anything. When you hear running on the tile, the door's kind of open. Then you hear steps on the carpet, like 1 or 2 steps, and then your heart would just start racing. Too scared to look, and I don't know how many times I could tell you guys that like you pull the covers over your head and you're just like, oh my god, please don't be anything there. Then I used to be the point of being terrified after now that I think about it, I feel like I'm freaking myself out. After pulling the covers over your head and you don't hear anything, it's that anxiety or that feeling like, oh my god, please don't let there be something there if I move these covers off of my head. That is like, even with the amount of activity or things I've personally experienced, that's like one of those things I'm like, I pray that does not happen, because that is so scary. To me, that's so scary. I used to sleep on the top bunk like all the time, and then when this stuff started really happening, I didn't care. Like I either wanted to be next to my brother or my sister, so I stopped sleeping on the top bunk because the thought of having to climb down that ladder if I'm like scared or I feel trapped equally terrified me. Okay, if I had to turn my back to come down and God forbid if something was there. And I knew I wasn't the only person experiencing things, because my brother at times, like we'd be awake and mine would be like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, maybe later at times, and I would hear it, and then a couple seconds after he would be like, my brother would be like, hey, did you hear that? Or, you know, there'd be times where we'd call out to each other because our rooms are like across the hall, and we'd ask each other like, okay, was that you in the hallway? Were you just in the living room? But you looked at everybody's face, like you could tell, like nobody was really getting proper sleep. Even from my parents, I don't really know much what they personally experienced, but I know they were having such a hard time knowing what we were going through, and they didn't know what to do. it was so bad. Things started getting so bad. Those feelings, those things increased so bad that you would lay in bed for hours waiting for sunlight to break. And as soon as you saw some sunlight, like, you would have this big sigh of relief, and then that's when you would go to sleep. Like, you get a couple hours of sleep, because mind you, school was still going on, life was still happening. We couldn't just not go, so we found a way to just deal with it. So, and nobody said that, but we didn't know what else to do, you know. So you really wait and try to sleep, and then either deal with one or the other, the nightmares, or you just lay there sick of it all. And when you see that little bit of sunlight, you kind of get a little bit at ease, and you'll drift off to sleep for a couple hours before having to do whatever it was. The only feeling of relief was sunrise, getting a few hours, and then after school, whatever the case may be, dreading sunset and just mentally preparing yourself for the night. And like I said, a lot more has happened. I don't want to make this too long of a video, but I will tell you this, that feeling of relief of daybreak did not last that long, because activity did indeed seep into the day, and there was no relief. And it really did get that bad for all of us, and where we needed help. And I will touch on that in the next video, because that's why I say, if something's going on somewhere, it doesn't have to be the middle of the night. If somewhere is messed up, trust me, you will know, hands down. So please tell me what you guys think. I've had people reach out to me and share their stories with me, and I personally am a huge fan of that. I love that. I try to help people if I can, because like I said, I had so many experiences. And in general, if you just want to share, I think it's really cool. And like I said, always fascinated by these things. So if you're too shy to comment down below, my Instagram is linked in the description. Message me, I will always answer. Or email me, my email is there too. And hey, like, if I could help somebody, I will gladly do it. I'm here to tell you, you're not crazy. These things are real, and it feels so good to just be able to freely talk about these things with you guys. And like I said, if it helps one person, I'm happy. If it fascinates you, still happy. Because I don't think the paranormal will ever go away from my life. I've accepted that now, and I actually I enjoy what how do I say that? I enjoy being able to control myself mentally, emotionally, and really understand things better for myself, at least. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna end here. I hope you guys are doing well, staying safe, and until next time, guys.